I started 7 companies from scratch, and 3 went to I wasn't growing. People didn't pay attention to me. I put all my company money on the line, and I said, I'm gonna become famous. And I just took a risk. Because you don't need money to make money, you need courage. So what I started doing 10 years ago is I started building my personal brand. I started investing a lot into mentors. I invested in Grant Cardone, Patrick Bet-David, Ty Lopez, Tim Grover, even David Goggins. Everybody, because I wanted to learn like all those things and learn 10% from each of them. And because of my personal brand, I was able to make more money than ever because I had the brand. The power of the brand, you can't put a price to that. There's like 1 or 2 people that are gonna go out there and execute. I don't know who that 1 or 2 person is, but there's always 1 or 2 in the room that you wanna meet. That's gonna be that big Goliath. I'm Mexican and Mexican American. David thinks he's a shit because he has 1 DUI. I got 3. That's.
Hey, Albert, I learned from my mistakes.
Hey, it's a good thing he learned, huh? So listen, the DUIs that happened quite a while ago, but I started 7 companies from scratch, and 3 went to shit, and 4 of them became multi-million-dollar companies. And the big thing though is that David wanted me to talk about personal brand, but that's real, because without personal brand right now, I don't know, I would probably be out of business, because a lot of realtors and loan officers, mortgage, anybody tied to real estate, even solar is affected because of the rates. So a lot of people right now, if you don't have your personal brand, it's going to be harder to get some deals. So what I started doing 10 years ago is I started building my personal brand. I started investing a lot into mentors. I used to say 5 million in mentorships, but now more like 7 million that I've spent in mentorships. And I'll give you an example. People ask me like, what do you mean by that? Well, like just a little bit ago, like maybe a year ago, I paid John Maxwell like about $400,000 just because I wanted to level up in leadership. So I flew him in private, flew him out, but he was just one of the recent ones. But back then, I invested in Grant Cardone, Patrick Bet-David, Ty Lopez, Tim Grover, even David Goggins, everybody. Les Brown, because I wanted to learn like all those things and learn 10% from each of them. So I started an event. One of the 4 companies is Driven. So we're going on year 8. So if you guys can do me a favor, just maybe take a little video and tag me right here, Albert, at the Albert Preciado. And I'll tell you why. Like all of you should be, I'll share it too, but all of you should be networking. Like David said, like right here, there's probably gonna be like 1 person or maybe 2. You think 2 or 1? That are gonna be future business partners that might make you millions of dollars, if not $1 billion. So because of my personal brand, I started building it, right? And now, today, even though the economy might not be the best, because of the personal brand, I'm making so much money. My Rolodex of contacts is unmatched. Like I could call Oscar de la Hoya to Ray J to anybody. And what I'm doing right now in this phase is now I grew my companies as much as I could with my own money and with my personal brand that I built over 10 years. The good news is that you guys don't have to take 10 years, because now videos go viral. And when videos go viral, you get 1 million, 2 million, 3 million views. That just gets you a bunch of followers, which lead to clients. And there's 3 things I do all the time. Like I do a live every single morning. Get this tip from me, just write this down. But if you guys can get one thing, do a live in the mornings and do another live in the nights. That's 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the night, because that's you're promoting your brand. Because of my brand now, my companies combined did $30 million last year. Now, because I grew it as much as I could, I'm in the process of raising capital. I study a lot of entrepreneurs that exited companies, billions, they sold for $1 billion, sold for hundreds of millions. All these people that built the companies, they grew it as much as they could, and then they started raising capital to scale. So right now I'm raising $5 million, and I have a lot of these contacts. I have one of the owners of a $1 billion lending company. He reached out to me. He wants to have me in his podcast because he likes what I'm doing. And a lot of people here, they named a few platforms. So listen to this. Most wealthy people, they don't go on TikTok and Instagram to get information or learn. They're on YouTube. I'm not saying TikTok and Instagram sucks because they make me a lot of money, especially when I go live. However, this billionaire found me on YouTube. Why? Because if you think about it, the smart people, the wealthy people, they want to go on YouTube and learn. They want to watch long form content. The 60-second content, that's not for billionaires. You know, that's not at least where I get my information. When I'm showering, working out, I'm watching YouTube content because I like to watch interviews of people that build something. Today, I did a podcast with the creator and founder of Ace of Spades. You guys heard about that?
Yeah.
He sold it to Jay-Z. So we're gonna have a meeting with him. And it's just contact after contact after contact. But because I worked on my social media brand, my personal brand, I met David. You know, I met Chad. I met a lot of people like that. And now we're going on, like for the Driven events, going on 8 years. That started because I paid Grant Cardone hundreds of thousands of dollars. I paid Brad Lee hundreds of thousands of dollars. We started Driven. And I was like the guy that, it was my first event, you know, and I'll end with this, because I think we're gonna have a Q&A, right? So I started an event because Grant Cardone, you guys know Grant? Yeah, so Grant Cardone, he got on my nerves. Yeah, because he wouldn't put me on stage, and I wanted to get on stage. Because I know how powerful the megaphone, the mic is. You know, when you have the mic, people listen. When you don't, like people whisper, people are like, hey, my name is David. But when you got the mic, you're like, hey, I'm Albert, man. And just like David uses his mansion here like a prostitute, you know, I used my Ferrari like a prostitute. I bought a Ferrari when I was broke and I couldn't afford it. I got an open-end lease. I was paying $2,100 a month. I put all my company money on the line, and I said, I'm gonna become famous. So I went and got a 458 2011 Ferrari. This is like 8-9 years ago, and I just took a risk. Because you don't need money to make money, you need courage. You know, if a former ESL student, former special ed student was able to do this, so can anybody else. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna get this car, I'm gonna put everything on the line. I have a baby on the way. Her name is Italia, after the 458 Italia. Now I got 3 daughters, they're all named after Ferraris. I got Berlin after Berlinetta, and I have the cheap one, Cali, because she's named after the California Ferrari. So I'm not saying my daughter obviously is not cheap, but the California is cheap. But we ran out of names with the Ferraris. We were supposed to have a boy, but we had 3 girls. So maybe I'm gonna keep humping, and maybe I get a boy. Because that's one thing. My weaknesses are you know, females and alcohol. Just in case. I know there's a lot of females right here, so not too many drinks today, David. But I got the Ferrari. And I started using the Ferrari to appear bigger than I was on social media. So I took a risk because I wasn't growing. People didn't pay attention to me. I would tell people, hey, join my company. My first company was the Mortgage Guys. It's going on 11 years in business. The second oldest is Ambiance Realty. That's 9 years in business. Driven Enterprise is going on 8 years. And then we have an escrow company 2 years old. All of them self-funded with all my money from scratch. Made so many mistakes. Had to sell all my real estate because I ran out of money. Every quarter I would sell a property. 18 properties later, sold all of them. And I got till the last shot. And I remember my wife was crying because I was telling her, hey, we're gonna sell this last property. All her cards are maxed out that I applied and got for her. She gave me the green light, but I got my cards. I got a bunch of credit cards, maxed them out, maxed hers out. We're down to the last property. And this is 2018. We're at the Fontainebleau in Miami. And I told my wife, hey, and I'm just acting like everything is cool. So I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to sell this property. It's a great investment. I'm going to make so much money. I got a genius idea. And she's like crying and starts crying. And I'm at the Fontainebleau acting like I'm a baller. I don't have any money. I'm out of money. So she starts crying and she knows this is the last property we have. What are you doing? We have a baby. She's 1 year, Italia was 2018. So I tell her, hey, just give me one last shot. All I need is one last shot. And you know what? Most of the time, that's all you need, one shot. You got to take a risk. You got to go all in. Put all the money on the line. We did that. After that, everything turned around, and little by little, every quarter it gets better. Every quarter it gets better. And then we built our companies. And when 2022 happened, rates go up to 8, 9. All my competitors are struggling, and everybody's panicking. That's when I said, I have to hire a mentor. I hired John Maxwell because I wanted to become a better leader to my people. Hired John Maxwell, and I got what I needed. And then I said, you know what? I got to lead by example. And because of my personal brand, I was able to make more money than ever because I had the brand. The power of the brand is you can't put a price to that. So if you guys haven't started right now, you don't want to do social media, you don't want to get on stage. The first time I got on stage, I was shaking, I was nervous. People were making fun of my accent. People were saying, this guy's a wetback, you should go back to Mexico and do it. But you know what? I did it. Nobody's going to eat you. And I used I had the courage. I didn't need money, I didn't have money, but I was courageous enough to do it. And 8 years later, we're going on Driven 8 now. It's the 8th year. And here we are, David's house. So next time that we come here, I heard you're going to do it every month, David. So next time, I don't know who that contact is right here, but if you guys take something away from here, there's a lot of people in this room. Everybody here is saying, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have that. There's like 1 or 2 people that are going to go out there and execute. So who's that 1 or 2 person here? Who's that 1 or 2 that's going to become the next billionaire or whatever? Like, I want to meet you guys. So I don't know who that 1 or 2 person is, but there's always 1 or 2 in the room that you want to meet. So connect, and let's connect. Let's meet before I leave. But remember, next time I come, I want to hear who's that 1 person, David, that's going to be that big Goliath. So thank you guys.
Give it up for Albert.